Miss Susie with the magical sunglasses takes a course in self-development. Bonjour, ma chère. Did you know that it's French and means hello, my dear? Well, at least you know now. Aren't you just absolutely thrilled to know me, who is so good at French? I'm sure you are. Well, my friends, here I am, back again. Miss Susie herself, the one with the magical sunglasses. Of course you know who I am. Imagine that you, of all people, know the most adorable cat in the entire universe, because that's what I am. But even if you know who I am, you may not know what it's like to be as beautiful as me. It's a real shame, and I hope you learn it one day, because it's truly amazing, you see. Unfortunately, not many people fully understand what it's like to be me. Fortunately, though, that's not really my problem. In fact, today I want to tell you about a truly annoying encounter with a creature that didn't understand me at all. To tell you the truth, I get both upset and offended just thinking about her. She didn't understand a thing. Oh, well, let me tell you what happened. You see, I was on a course in self-development. If you don't know what that is, then listen carefully, okay? What I mean is that if you're doing something else right now, stop doing it and listen to me, because I'm going to tell you a story from my life. Is it understood? Okay, I will have to start from the beginning. You see, it was this enchantingly beautiful Wednesday morning, and as always I woke up in my soft basket, well rested and satisfied after my long and soothing beauty sleep. I stretched my adorable body, and my long, slender paws took my magical sunglasses from the beautiful mahogany box and put them on my super sweet snout. SSS. It's always the first thing I do when I wake up, and then I am just so ready for a new day. I'm sure you understand. It's very simple. As you know, my magical sunglasses are big and blue and glittery, in the shape of two stars that pair perfectly with my two lovely ears, my silky soft fur, and my velvety voice. That's right. The world becomes truly magical when I'm wearing my sunglasses. Everything around me becomes so wonderfully beautiful and alive, and I feel so incredibly happy. Unfortunately, the opposite happens if I don't have them on. Then the world becomes a very stupid and boring place, to say the least. By now, I'm sure you understand why I love my magical sunglasses more than anything else on this planet, because I really do. Well, back to this Wednesday morning. I had just finished my morning freshen up and had eaten breakfast when I could hear the local newspaper, Cat's News, come through the letterbox in the door and fall on the floor in the hallway. I always find it incredibly exciting to know what's happening in the neighborhood, so I got up and went to get the newspaper before I went back to read it on the couch. On the front page there was a large picture of an impressive female cat with crystal green eyes and a mysterious dark red cape around her shoulders. The cape was decorated with all kinds of glitter and shiny sequins, and the headline read, "Famous healer comes to town." I immediately became curious. I love famous people, and as you know, I'm a bit of a celebrity myself. Inside the paper it read, "Come to my course in self-development on Friday and get to know yourself better. Bring your dearest possession." My, oh my! Guess who signed up right away? I did, of course. I knew immediately that this was a wonderful opportunity for me to get to know myself better. It had to mean that I was even more adorable and stunningly beautiful than I already realized. And my magical sunglasses are, of course, my dearest possession. That's something everyone knows. Well, if I had known how unbearably annoying this so-called healer was, I would of course never have signed up for the course. But how could I know? The next 2 days I was very excited about the course. Only the word self-development gave me butterflies in my tummy, and I could almost feel how delighted this interesting healer cat would be to meet Miss Susie herself, the one with the magical sunglasses. I'm sure you can imagine that I spent a long time freshening up in the morning before the course began. I wanted to look absolutely magnifique, if you know what that means. If you don't, then maybe you should consider taking a little course in French. I cannot go on forever explaining to you what all sorts of things mean in French, can I? Okay, the thing was, I looked amazing when I left home. Oh yes, you should have seen me. My silky soft fur was spotlessly clean, and my whiskers sat perfectly on both sides. I walked with feather-light steps, set my paws gracefully on the ground, swung my lovely tail, and wiggled my cute bum a little. Everyone I met gave me their most radiant smiles, and I thought to myself, what a wonderful world this is. I made sure I was a little late for the course. Did you know that important people are always a little late when they're going somewhere? If you didn't know, then you know now, right? Everyone else sat in a large circle and stared at me admiringly as I entered the room. I smiled my most adorable smile, and it was obvious that they were very impressed. That's completely understandable when you know how amazing I look with my magical sunglasses on. Hi, come in. There's a place for you over there. The healer's voice was deep and mysterious. Oh, thank you so much. I made sure to walk slowly and elegantly across the floor so that everyone could see how beautiful I was. Welcome. The rest of us have just had a round where we introduced ourselves to each other. I wish you had been here. The healer looked at me. Oh, no, that's okay. Everybody knows who I am. I sat down with my head tilted a little, which is something I do when I want to look extra adorable. Okay, but maybe you'll say a few words about who you are and what your name is and things like that? The healer looked at me with her big crystal green eyes, and I glanced a little at her dark red cape. Gee, it was very beautiful, with all the glitter and sequins. Yes, of course I can. As you already know, my name is Miss Susie with the magical sunglasses. I carefully adjusted my beloved sunglasses with one paw, so that they sat perfectly on my super sweet snout. SSS. Welcome, Miss Susie. You sure have some very nice sunglasses there, but I don't believe I've heard of you before. What? Haven't you heard of me before? I was so shocked when she said that, but I don't understand that at all. Oh, well, it sure is about time then. And how fortunate for you that I'm here today. I smiled and put my snout in the air. Okay, that's fine. Well, but let's continue. I have asked you to bring your dearest possession today. Now I want you to come up here and put it on the table over there in the corner. I looked at all the others who got up from their seats and walked up with their things. I, of course, remained seated. What about you, Miss Susie? Have you brought anything that is your dearest possession? Yes, I have. It's my beloved sunglasses, of course. I sent her an adorable look. Would you like to come up here and put them on the table? No, thank you, I don't. But why not? I always wear them, you see, and they make the world around me look beautiful and magical. I only take them off when I'm sleeping. I smiled from ear to ear. But what are you afraid of? I'm not afraid of anything. I shook my head a little indignantly. I really didn't understand why this healer cat suddenly asked me if I was scared. It actually hurt my sensitive heart. Oh well, but this exercise involves putting something that we love very much on the table. You signed up for the course yourself, didn't you? I think maybe you're afraid. I told you, I'm not afraid. The healer said no more, and the others just stared at me. Did they really think I was scared? How rude! Okay then, if you insist. And then I did something that I should never have done. But I became so stubborn, you see. I walked up to the table and put down my magical sunglasses along with the other things. I wrinkled my snout slightly as I walked back to my place in the circle, and now I began to see everything with completely different eyes. The others looked grumpy and boring, and this healer creature was starting to get on my nerves with all her stupid questions. She came up to me and stared me straight in the eyes. Fine. Now who are you without your sunglasses, Miss Susie? She tried to speak calmly and kindly, but I just snorted indignantly. Goodness me, that's one of the most foolish questions I've been asked in my life. The healer looked a little surprised, but I was just being honest. I've never heard a sillier question. I think you're hiding behind your sunglasses. Do you, Miss Susie? What? Me? Hiding? Is that what you think? Let me make one thing perfectly clear to you, Mrs. Healer. I couldn't care less about what you believe or do not believe about me. Now the congregation fell completely silent, and I could sense that the healer was a little annoyed. Despite that, she obviously tried to stay calm. Are you afraid to show your true self? My true self? Honestly, I've never heard such nonsense in my life. I really don't think you understand, but I happen to be the most adorable cat in the whole universe. Yes, in the entire cosmos, to tell you the truth. Oh, I see. Well, there's nothing wrong with your confidence, that's for sure. What do you mean? I stared at the healer. Golly, what a disappointment she was, and I who had such high expectations. Yes, you say that you're the cutest cat in the entire universe, but don't you think, there are, after all, other adorable cats than just you? Maybe there is. And so what? How can I possibly know how others feel about themselves? I only know that I'm the cutest cat in the entire universe, and that's all I need to know. I examined my nails to distract myself and noticed how irritation simmered within me. You're just really cross because you had to put down your sunglasses, aren't you? Maybe she was trying to make amends, but I was very upset by her impudent behavior. Oh, yeah? Well, if you insist.
Maybe you want to put down your stupid cape together with the rest of our stuff. Or maybe you're scared.
My otherwise adorable voice probably sounded a touch more annoyed than usual, and I watched as the lady healer tried to hide a grimace. She looked really surprised, but then she just shook her head a little and looked at the others. Okay, let's move on with the program. The next thing we're going to do is to write a loving letter to our inner kitten. That is a letter to yourself when you were a little cat. She handed out a little notepad and pen to all of us. I stared suspiciously at her and the others, who began to write. Now what? But then I took the pen and wrote a short and precise letter to my inner kitten. I knew exactly what was going to be in the letter. The others spent a lot of time finishing theirs, and it was so boring to wait that I yawned loudly several times. Before long, the healer creature asked if anyone wanted to read their letter to the rest, and I quickly raised my paw. Yes, please, Miss Susie, would you like to read your letter? And so I did. Dear Miss Susie's inner kitten, you are the sweetest little cat in the entire universe. Big warm hugs from adult Miss Susie with the magical sunglasses. I saw that the healer had a frown on her forehead. Was that all? Yes. Anything wrong? Oh dear, you wouldn't believe the bad vibrations that were in the room. The healer sighed heavily. Tell me one thing, Miss Susie. Have you ever learned to truly love yourself? I rolled my eyes. Some people are simply born rude. Now tell me one thing, Mrs. Healer. Will you never stop? Don't you know that when you're as wise as I am, you overhear stupid questions like that? I wrinkled my SSS. Oh, I see. The healer nodded her head slowly, but then suddenly something completely unexpected happened. I am telling you, it was horrendous. A so-called helper came into the room with a large cardboard box and walked over to the table in the corner and started collecting all our things. The healer looked at us. Now it's time for you to say goodbye to your dearest possession. I stared at her in disbelief. I couldn't believe my own ears. Then I stared at the helper, who suddenly had my magical sunglasses in his hands. I began to growl, and when he put them in the box, I howled at the top of my lungs. That's how horrified I was. Then, in a split second, I jumped up from my seat and ran over to the table. Don't you touch them. Those are my sunglasses. Give them to me. The helper looked really scared, to say the least. Calm down, Miss Susie. The healer came over to the table and began to interfere. You calm down. I continued to growl, and the helper quickly handed me the sunglasses. Lucky for him, otherwise I dare not think about what might have happened. But Miss Susie, what are you doing? What am I doing? What are you doing? You tried to steal my magical sunglasses right before my snout. I should report you to the police. You're all criminals and should be locked up. I quickly looked at the congregation, where everyone looked at me with wide open eyes. Listen, Miss Susie, it's just an exercise. I growled in response, and the healer sent me a worried look. I'm going home. The rest of you can do all the exercises you like. The healer laughed a little uncertainly and tried to smile. Okay, well then, take care of yourself, my dearest Miss Susie. It's been a pleasure to meet you. I snorted and sent her a cold look.
Listen, Mrs. Healer, or whoever you are, let's get a few things clear before I go. First of all, I am not your dearest Miss Susie. I never have been, and I never will be. Secondly, it has not been a pleasure to meet you. Thirdly, this whole course has been a huge disappointment.
Oh, well, if you say so. Now, goodbye, Miss Susie with the magical sunglasses. The healer bowed her head slowly, but I neither answered nor offered her or any of the others so much as a glance, as I put my snout in the air and walked out of the room. Outside, I immediately put my magical sunglasses on my SSS.
If you don't remember what that means, then I'm truly disappointed.
Then I walked home, along the sidewalks, past the container behind the city's best restaurant, through the park and past the water fountain. Despite this absolutely horrendous experience, I breathed a sigh of relief as I walked, and soon the world transformed into a beautiful and wonderful place. Now all I wanted was to go home and eat, rest, and nurture myself. I cried a few tears as I walked. How on earth was it possible for anyone to be so rude and shameless? I felt so sorry for myself to have experienced something so unreasonable. Sweet, adorable, innocent me. I really don't know why these things always seem to happen to me. When I come to think of it, there was also this other time when something very upsetting happened to me. I know how much you'd love to hear that story now, but you'll have to wait until another day when I'm a little more rested. And it's good for you to learn to be a little patient, don't you think? Well, at least now you've heard what happened when I took this scandalous course in self-development. Dearest me, fortunately, it's a closed chapter now. For my part, it's time to take a little nap in my soft basket. I will put my magical sunglasses in the beautiful mahogany box with a dark blue velour fabric on the inside, and when I wake up, I will stretch my adorable body and my long slender paws and put the sunglasses back on my SSS. Afterwards, I will tend to my fur, fix my nails and whiskers, and then I will go out into the world and enjoy that everything around me is wonderfully beautiful and alive. I will smile at everyone I meet and know that I'm the most adorable cat in the entire universe. That's right. It's always a little sad to say goodbye, but there's no other way. You do remember my little secret, don't you? I certainly hope so. And you haven't forgotten that I want you to tell it to everyone you meet, have you? It is, after all, the most beautiful secret in the entire universe. It goes like this. Every time I put my adorable paws on the ground, something magical happens to the earth. It becomes very happy, you see, and it starts laughing because I kind of tickle it with my paws, and that joy spreads to every place on the whole globe. Isn't it just amazing? Now be sure to share it with everyone you know, okay? Well, my friends, it's time to say goodbye for now. You'll probably hear from me again soon. I am Miss Susie herself, The one with the magical sunglasses, the most adorable cat in the entire universe. Have a wonderful time and take good care of yourself, and remember that you can always practice feeling like the most beautiful being in the entire universe. I hope you do, for your own sake, that is. In fact, I am sure I can become a great healer and hold courses in self-development much better than that other lady. I sure do. That's right. Oh, well, see you later, alligator. Au revoir.